the UX Bright podcast with our host, Chris Richards. Christopher, how are you? You know what, man? You got news. I did not know this. I've been studying this whole AI thing. We have a new AI that's going to be a game changer. And it's kind of almost like, what happened when TikTok, everyone jumped to Red Note.
Exactly
Exactly the
that.
same thing, but now a Chinese-based company is competing and competing to a level it's making the markets go a little crazy.
Yeah, this was a story I was reading over the weekend, and I just kept unpeeling the layer of that onion the more I kept diving in. So there's a new AI that just came out of China. It's called Deep Seek, Deep SEEK. And essentially, it's an open source AI that is starting to perform better than ChatGPT, right? So to give you just some like high level stats just to show you like where we were, Chat's latest model that they just released in November of last year, this new model, okay, they tested it against the SAT exams, right? Math 500. The regular Chat GPT bot got 79% on that math exam, right? Guess what the new DeepSeek AI just came into?
What?
97.3%. Uh, Crazy advancement in such a short time period. So what I really wanted to talk to today really was, we're seeing this huge advancement in tech, and how can you start make sense of that and plug this into your business in some capacity, because we have these open source commercials and open source solutions, and then we have these commercial solutions. And so I think the biggest question for a lot of business owners is, okay, should I go on Chat GPT's platform and ecosystem and rely solely on them as my AI vendor, or should I build my own language model and use these open source sort of routes? So
So let's
um,
define open source first.
yeah, let's define that, right? Because open source in the technological world basically means anyone can grab the code, use it for free use, and also for commercialization. If you go to GitHub, if you're a programmer, they got a number of different licenses, but the cream of the crop license is you want an MIT license. An MIT license essentially says, hey, we did all this cool stuff for the world. Here you go, commercialize it, build on it, and take it to the next step. You don't really owe any of the people who built the code any of that from building on top of it. And so open source is a big part of the software industry, right? But then you have commercial products, right? That we send, our subscription platforms that we currently know and use are part of that. So what's the difference and what's the hullabaloo with AI and open source, right? The whole goal with AI and really combating the whole Terminator mindset of like this AI is going to come over and take over the world is if we make it open source, that means that everybody can look at the code. That means no one can build a malicious code or anything that we don't want the AI really to do as humans. And so this was OpenAI Chat GPT's original model. They originally started off as open source, and if you can go back to their early models, they're still open source. But now the dynamics have changed, right? You introduce human politics, finance, all these different aspects into this game-changing technology. What OpenAI has done currently has completely privatized their OpenAI solution, and so within that nonprofit, they created a for-profit, and now they're selling the open AI out and it's a closed ecosystem, right? And so now we're starting to see these global players come out and create open source AI models to combat Google, combat Microsoft, and all these other AIs. And so now you're seeing the start of it. This DeepSeek program is completely coming in and is performing better than these privatized solutions. And so the question kind of begs for us business owners, okay, which one are we going to start hitching our wagon to?
Right, right. So I mean, as an AI aficionado, never calling myself an expert. I guess an aficionado means I'm interested in it. It's
Right.
kind of like I'm a wine aficionado. I like, that's not one of my example, but that I'm an AI aficionado. I like to try all the different brands. I like to test them out. I like to play around with them, all these different things. I'm not an AI expert. Maybe if
Right.
I tried to decide to just only focus on one thing, then I'd be an AI expert. But open source versus now the other, what's better for business owners, or go to ChatGPT or Claude or all these different things, or open source?
Right. Yeah. And that's a question I'm actively helping folks answer at UXBrite, right? Is this route of, do we go to commercialized route or do we start with the open source? So the caveats to it, right? The pros, if you decide to go the commercial route, you can more likely get your AI agent or bot up more quickly, right? There's a whole reason why ChatGPT has got its own, UI dashboard, makes it nice and cool. If you're on a programmer, you can get in there and start playing around with it like you have yourself. So it makes it easy to bring to get a MVP solution. The con to that, right, is you're beholden to that vendor, right? And if you're in a position where you're implementing AI in practically every aspect of your business, you never want to be in a position where you're vendor locked, right? And you have no control over the cost. And then I worked with some folks now. They built a wrapper on top of Chat GPT, released a product, and when ChatGPT raised their pricing, it threw their business model out of whack. They also had to increase pricing on their end or completely kind of pivot the way that they were doing business. So that's the consideration. Now, if you go open source route, you own that technology, right? If you make new improvements on that AI, whether it's specialized for podcasting or doing some type of marketing task, no one owns that, right? Everybody might have a base of what they can do, but no one would own your data or what your model is trained on. And so, you own the intellectual property. That's a big one. And then two, if you're building a business of value and you have this kind of idea of having like that $1 billion exit, investors are not investing in companies that just have a chat GPT wrapper and call it AI. No, you truly need to be AI from the sense of we have full on data engineers who are helping us out. And they're building on top of whatever our use cases are. So that gives you just that competitive edge, and gives you something in the market that no one's seen before, that unique differentiator. So those are the considerations. Open source will take a little longer, right? Especially if you're not necessarily tech experienced. You should really try to find a data analyst or a statistician to kind of help you make sense of all the different data in your business. But it does take a little longer, right? But there is long-term benefits, right? To that. So those are the two differences between doing a commercialized example versus going more the open source route. There's tons of more pros and cons I could probably point out, but keeping it baseline there is
I think the biggest thing is your data is protected. They're not going to steal it
right.
in open source.
Yeah, that's correct. Right. Yeah. If you're training your own models, you're using your own data. Um, Chat GPT on the commercial side now has access to every single custom model that people have built. So there's a high, they may say they may have privacy on the data, but there's a high chance they're probably training on it, right? Yeah, you're shaking your head. No, you already know. More than likely, they're training on all these different custom models that people are building and just putting that into the general hosh posh knowledge base that is open AI.
Do you see technology going lower and lower pricing now because of this whole competition?
Well, here's the cool thing about this, right? Because of this new open source project called DeepSeek, what they've been able to do is, I guess, their algorithm code, the way it goes about using computation power in that, it does it a lot more efficiently. So what happens is, right now we've seen the rise of NVIDIA just completely blow to the moon, almost $1 trillion company, just due to the fact that AI is being used on graphics processors or video cards, right? If you have an NVIDIA chipset or anything like that, you could use that to train AI models. So what's happening right now is, and you'll see this actually in the financial, look at Wall Street Times right now, on Wall Street Journal, the tech market just took a dip, because now people are realizing, whoa, I don't have these two or three horsemen of the market that can get me this AI solution. I can now have this open AI solution, and it performs a little better than open AI. So now what this is causing Google and all these other players is to rethink their strategy and for how they're sort of gatekeeping AI and access, and then making it also economically make sense for business owners. So yeah, it's the economics of that open source will start to bring that down. And because we don't need that program doesn't need as many video cards and Nvidia things, uh, you won't need to spend as much in hardware costs to train your
Yeah, but
models. So it's
here's
amazing.
where I think, Christopher, the problem's going to happen is this.
Go ahead.
Trump's going to shut this down. If you're talking like TikTok, this will not be available in the United States in a year.
Right.
Or
Oh,
I
apologies there,
bet.
Manuel.
Huh?
But
Do you agree with me?
yeah, well, I'd question that just a little bit, right? Because
With
now,
Elon being in the administration, I don't know.
well, it's not just Elon, right? AI is now probably infiltrated the military industrial complex at this point in time, right? There's no way on earth we're going to be divesting from AI investments or anything of that like. So I think from just like a government perspective, we're going to keep it because keep in mind this just came out of China. It is open source. It's not by a specific company or was distributed by the government itself. But the fact that we have international players on the scene who and they're outbeating us now. Oh, this is going to drive our competitive nature up, right? Like America's, if anything, this probably should be part of Trump's agenda, continuing the CHIPS Act and making sure that we can develop the AI chips into everything necessary to really dominate the AI and digital transformation space in the next century, right?
Well, didn't we get a big investment coming that they said they're going to invest? That's what I heard in AI. This big
Yeah,
investment for the executive orders. So will it be interesting to see?
yeah, it'll be real cool, and then you will start to see the pricing of AI get down, and then what happens after when price comes down, the knowledge curve comes down too, right? So you'll find more open, easy solutions that you could start plugging into agents, and you, you'll probably see AI CEOs pretty soon here. Maybe little early versions of it, but yeah, it's really interesting to see where this will all take us. And let's revisit this in 3 months. I bet you, I guarantee it, it's going to look nothing like it does today.
I think so. Well, I mean, it looks nothing like it when it first came out, right? Now
Exactly.
you can plug all this information into a chat and it can do it. But I bet you it's going to make OpenAI want to improve and compete. It's probably making some people
Exactly.
crazy right now with DeepSeek. And like that same thing happened when Gemini came out and showed that ChatGPT wasn't doing the well as it should.
Mm-hmm.
And then you saw a lot more improvement in AI the other way.
Exactly. So now competition is good.
Competition is great. It's
Yeah.
a great thing. You just have to find who your competitors are. Okay, people
Exactly.
can check out UX Bright. Where can they go?
Yeah, so you can check us out at uxbrite.com. That's uxbrite.com. And then also check us out on LinkedIn. We're always giving insights on all the latest in tech and entrepreneurship. So you can find us on UXBrite on LinkedIn. So
All right.
thanks, Neil. This was a great topic. Looking
I
forward to
love it. You keep finding more like this. This is fun. All
Oh,
right.
yeah.